That tub of butter in your fridge isn't butter at all. It's industrial vegetable oil whipped with water, emulsifiers, and artificial flavouring. The UK government legally requires these products to be called spreads because they contain no actual butter, but clever marketing makes you think you're buying the real thing. British supermarkets are filled with fake butter that costs nearly as much as real butter while being made from the cheapest oils possible. These spreads contain palm oil linked to heart disease, trans fats that raise cholesterol, and chemicals your body doesn't recognise as food. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which spreads to avoid and why real butter is actually the healthier choice. Let's start with the brands hiding behind butter-like branding while selling you anything but butter. Number 10. Flora Buttery. Flora Buttery is marketed as tasting just like butter with added health benefits. The reality is vegetable oil spread with butter flavouring and zero actual butter. The ingredients list reveals everything. Water is the first ingredient, followed by vegetable oils including rapeseed, palm, and linseed. Butter appears nowhere on the label because there isn't any. A food scientist told me, Flora Buttery uses butter flavouring chemicals to mimic real butter taste. The name is deliberately misleading, making consumers think they're getting butter when it's entirely plant oils. The fat content is 40%, which is half the fat of real butter. But here's the trick, they've replaced butterfat with cheaper vegetable oils and bulked it up with water. The emulsifiers used to blend oil and water include mono and diglycerides of fatty acids. The preservatives include potassium sorbate to prevent mold growth. Real butter doesn't need this because the high fat content naturally preserves it. The colouring is from beta-carotene, added to make the spread look yellow like butter. Without this, the product would be pale white because vegetable oils are colourless. The salt content is high at 1.3 grams per 100 grams. This salt masks the bland taste of vegetable oils and makes the spread more palatable. The price is around £2.50 for a 500 gram tub. You're paying nearly as much as real butter for vegetable oil with flavouring. When I compared Flora Buttery to real butter in baking, the differences were obvious. The spread made cookies that spread too thin and cakes with poor texture. Real butter creates proper structure and flavour. But if Flora's deception bothers you, the next brand takes it even further by trading on decades of butter reputation while delivering something entirely different. Number 9. Lurpak Spreadable. Lurpak built its reputation on quality Danish butter. Then they launched Lurpak Spreadable and everything changed. This product trades on the Lurpak name while delivering something very different from their traditional butter. The ingredient list shows butter as the first ingredient, which sounds good until you see what else is in there. Rapeseed oil makes up a significant portion, diluting the butter content. A former Lurpak employee revealed, Spreadable was created because consumers wanted butter that spreads straight from the fridge. But you can't make pure butter spreadable without changing its composition, so we blend it with vegetable oil. The butter content is around 60%, with the remaining 40% being rapeseed oil and water. You're paying premium prices for a product that's only partly butter. The price is outrageous at around £3.50 for a 500 gram tub. That's more expensive than pure Lurpak butter, despite containing less actual butter. The marketing cleverly avoids explicitly stating it's not pure butter. The packaging looks almost identical to regular Lurpak, causing many consumers to buy it thinking it's the same product. When I tested Lurpak Spreadable in cooking, it performed poorly. The water content caused sauces to split and baked goods to have the wrong textures. Real butter creates emulsions and structures that spread simply cannot replicate. What really bothers me is how Lurpak leveraged its butter reputation to sell a diluted product. Consumers trust the Lurpak name and assume Spreadable maintains the same quality. It doesn't. Moving to our next brand, we'll see another trusted name doing exactly the same thing, proving this isn't just one company's mistake, but an industry-wide deception. Number 8. Anchor Spreadable. Anchor is another trusted butter brand that launched a spreadable version. Like Lurpak, they're trading on their reputation while selling a product that's not pure butter. The ingredients show butter first, followed by vegetable oils including rapeseed and palm. The butter content is approximately 65%, meaning 35% is vegetable oil and water. A food industry insider told me Anchor Spreadable was developed to compete with Lurpak Spreadable. Both companies saw that consumers wanted spreadable butter and chose to blend rather than educate people that real butter softens naturally at room temperature. The palm oil content is particularly concerning. Palm oil is linked to deforestation and contains saturated fats that raise LDL cholesterol. The price is around £3 for a 500-gram tub. You're paying premium prices for a butter oil blend that costs Anchor significantly less to produce than pure butter. The texture is too soft for many baking applications. When I made puff pastry with Anchor Spreadable, it failed to create proper layers because the soft texture prevented the cold fat pockets needed for rising. At least Anchor and Lurpak contain some real butter. What's coming next is completely butter-free, despite packaging that screams otherwise. Number 7. Vitalite dairy-free. Vitalite markets itself as a healthy butter alternative that's dairy-free. The reality is that palm oil and coconut oil are blended with water and chemicals to create something that vaguely resembles butter. The ingredients list is entirely plant-based oils. Palm oil and coconut oil provide the solid fat structure. Rapeseed oil adds volume. Water bulks it up. Emulsifiers hold it together. A nutritionist analyzed Vitalite for me and said, "This product has no nutritional advantages over butter." The saturated fat content from palm and coconut oil is similar to butter, but without any of butter's beneficial nutrients. The palm oil drives massive deforestation in Malaysia and Indonesia. The coconut oil is similarly saturated, and research shows it raises LDL cholesterol just like other saturated fats. The vitamins are added artificially. Vitalite contains added vitamins A, D, and E to mimic butter's natural vitamin content, but synthetic vitamins aren't absorbed as well as natural ones from real food. The price is around £2 for a 500-gram tub. You're paying for processed plant oils that cost pennies to produce. When I tested Vitalite in baking, the coconut oil created an underlying sweetness that didn't work in savory applications. The palm oil left a waxy coating in my mouth. As bad as Vitalite is, our next brand manages to be even worse by using a name that openly mocks the very concept of honest labeling. Number 6. I can't believe it's not butter. The name itself is an admission that it's not butter, while simultaneously trying to convince you it tastes like butter. I can't believe it's not. Butter is a vegetable oil spread with some of the most aggressive marketing in the industry. The ingredients are primarily vegetable oils, including rapeseed, palm, and palm kernel. Water is the second ingredient, meaning you're buying oil and water held together by emulsifiers. The fat content is only 64% compared to butter's 82%. You're getting significantly less fat and more water, but the price doesn't reflect this. The flavoring is entirely artificial. Natural butter flavor comes from compounds created during cream fermentation. I can't believe it's not. Butter uses synthetic flavoring chemicals to approximate this taste. The salt content is 1.5 grams per 100 grams, higher than real butter. This excess salt is needed because vegetable oils are tasteless without heavy seasoning. The price is around £2.20 for a 500-gram tub. You could buy real butter for similar money and get actual butter instead of flavored vegetable oil. When I used I can't believe it's not butter in cooking, every dish suffered. The high water content made the sauces watery. The vegetable oils broke down at high heat, creating off flavors. Baked goods lacked structure. Here's something that should make you furious. The product name itself is designed to confuse elderly shoppers and people who don't read ingredient labels carefully. They see butter in the name and assume they're buying butter. But we're not done yet. Number 5 will show you just how far the UK spread industry will go to deceive consumers while charging premium prices for the cheapest ingredients imaginable. Make sure you're subscribed because what's coming will shock you even more. Number 5. Benecol Buttery Taste. Benecol buttery taste represents peak deception in the UK spread market. This product costs more than real butter while being made almost entirely from rapeseed oil and water with added plant sterols for supposed cholesterol reduction. A cardiologist told me, plant sterols can reduce cholesterol absorption, but you're consuming them in a vehicle of processed vegetable oils. You'd be better off eating real butter in moderation and getting plant sterols from vegetables and nuts. The butter content is 0. Despite buttery taste in the name, there's absolutely no butter in this product. The taste comes entirely from artificial flavoring. The rapeseed oil is heavily refined through industrial processes involving hexane extraction, bleaching and deodorizing. The price is shocking at around £4 for a 450-gram tub. That's nearly double the price of real butter for rapeseed oil with added plant sterols. When I tested Benecol in cooking, it performed terribly. The high water content caused sauces to split. The vegetable oils created off flavors in baked goods. Here's what really makes me angry. Benecol costs more than real butter while being made from the cheapest possible ingredients. You're paying premium prices for industrial vegetable oil because they've added plant sterols and made health claims. If you've been buying any of these 5 spreads thinking they're butter or healthier alternatives, you've been deceived. Now let's expose the 5 worst offenders that take this deception to absolutely shocking levels. Number 4. Stork baking spread. Now we move from spreads pretending to be butter into territory. That's even more disturbing. Stork has been a baking staple for generations, marketed specifically for cakes and pastries. What they don't advertise is that you're baking with palm oil and water held together by a cocktail of chemicals. A professional baker told me, Stork became popular decades ago when butter was expensive and rationed, but the modern version is worse than the original margarine. It's heavily processed palm oil that creates an acceptable texture in cakes, but a terrible flavor. The palm oil is high in saturated fat linked to cardiovascular disease, and its production drives rainforest destruction in Southeast Asia. The hydrogenation process used to make palm oil solid creates trans fats. While UK regulations limit trans fats, even small amounts raise LDL cholesterol and increase heart disease risk. The emulsifiers are extensive. Stork contains mono and diglycerides, polyglycerol esters, and lecithin. These chemicals are needed because you're trying to blend oil and water, which naturally repel each other. The price is around £1.80 for a 500-gram tub. While cheaper than butter, you're still paying for heavily processed palm oil that costs pennies to produce. When I baked Victoria sponge cakes comparing Stork to real butter, the differences were dramatic. The Stork cake was lighter but tasted bland and chemical. The butter cake had rich flavour and proper texture. The texture becomes grainy when melted and resolidified. I tested this by melting Stork for buttercream icing. The result was grainy and separated, while real butter created smooth, creamy icing. But as problematic as Stork is, what's coming next makes it look almost innocent by comparison. The remaining 3 spreads represent the absolute worst the UK market has to offer. Number 3. Clover Original. From Stork's baking deception, we now enter the realm of spreads that barely qualify as food. Clover Original has been confusing British consumers for decades with packaging that looks almost identical to butter while containing barely any dairy at all. A food inspector told me, Clover is one of the most deceptive products in UK supermarkets. The packaging, the yellow colour, the placement next to real butter, everything is designed to make consumers grab it thinking they're buying butter. The buttermilk content is around 5%. That means 95% is vegetable oils, water, and additives. You're getting almost no dairy despite the creamy marketing imagery. The fat content is only 40% compared to butter's 82%. More than half of what you're buying is water and emulsifiers pretending to be fat. The salt content is excessive at 1.8 grams per 100 grams. This is significantly higher than butter and is needed to make the bland vegetable oils palatable. The price is around £2 for a 500-gram tub. You're paying nearly as much as real butter for vegetable oil and water. The Marketing emphasizes family favorite and trusted brand, creating emotional connections that override rational ingredient analysis. People buy Clover because their parents bought it, not because it's good. When I tested Clover in cooking, it failed spectacularly. I made hollandaise sauce, which requires emulsifying fat with egg yolks. Real butter creates perfect hollandaise. Clover separated immediately because the emulsifiers broke down under heat, but disturbing as Clover is, it's not the worst. The final two spreads will make you question how these products are even legal to sell. Number 2, utterly buttery. Moving from Clover's deception, we now encounter a product whose very name is a mockery of honest labeling. Utterly buttery contains 0 butter while using a name specifically designed to confuse consumers into thinking they're buying butter. A consumer rights advocate told me, "Utterly buttery represents everything wrong with food labelling in the UK. The name clearly evokes butter while the product contains none. It's legal deception that exploits consumer confusion. The water content is massive. More than 30% of utterly buttery is water. You're paying spread prices for water chemically bound to vegetable oil. The emulsifiers required are extensive. The ingredient list includes mono and diglycerides, sunflower lecithin, and polyglycerol polyricinoate. Without these chemicals, the oil and water would separate within hours. The salt content is 1.6 grams per 100 grams, higher than that of real butter. This salt is essential because refined vegetable oils are completely tasteless without heavy seasoning. The price is around £1.90 for a 500-gram tub. You're paying for palm oil and water with artificial flavouring. When I tested utterly buttery in baking, the results were disastrous. I made croissants which require cold butter to create laminated layers. The spread melted too quickly, failed to create layers, and produced dense, greasy pastries instead of light, flaky ones. The taste test was equally damning. I served toast with real butter and toast with utterly buttery to 10 people without telling them which was which. Every single person identified the real butter and preferred it. But as terrible as utterly buttery is, nothing prepared me for what I discovered about the #1 worst spread in UK supermarkets. This final product represents the absolute bottom of the barrel. Number 1, Country Life Spreadable. And here we are at the worst offender in UK supermarkets. Country Life Spreadable takes the utterly buttery deception and makes it even worse by using rural imagery and traditional branding to sell heavily processed vegetable oil to unsuspecting consumers who think they're buying something wholesome. A former Country Life product developer revealed, Country Life Spreadable was designed to look and feel like traditional British butter while using the cheapest possible ingredients. The rural packaging, the traditional imagery, it's all marketing to hide that you're buying palm oil and rapeseed oil. The buttermilk content is approximately 3 to 5%. That means 95 to 97% is vegetable oils, water, and chemicals. You're getting almost no dairy whatsoever. The fat content is only 38%, less than half the fat content of real butter. The rest is water held in suspension by aggressive emulsification. The salt content is 1.9 grams per 100 grams, significantly higher than that of real butter. This excessive salt is necessary to make the tasteless vegetable oils and water mixture palatable. The price is outrageous at around £2.80 for a 500-gram tub. You're paying premium prices for bottom-tier ingredients because the packaging shows rural countryside imagery. When I compared Country Life Spreadable to real Country Life butter in a blind taste test, every participant identified the real butter and found the spread chemical tasting and artificial. The baking performance is catastrophic. I attempted to make puff pastry, which requires solid fat that stays cold during lamination. Country Life Spreadable melted immediately, created greasy dough, and failed to produce any layers whatsoever. Here's what makes me angriest about Country Life Spreadable. It deliberately targets older consumers who remember when Country Life meant quality British butter. They see the familiar branding and buy it, thinking they're getting the same product their parents bought. They're not. They're getting vegetable oil with artificial flavoring. The deception is complete when you realize Country Life also sells real butter. They're a legitimate butter brand, selling both real butter and fake butter under the same brand name. This creates maximum confusion, where consumers can't tell which product is which. Now that we've exposed the worst spreads, let me show you what real butter looks like and how to identify it every single time. Real butter has been made the same way for thousands of years. You take cream from milk, churn it until the fat separates from the liquid, and you have butter. That's it. No chemicals, no processing, no deception. But UK supermarkets make it deliberately confusing by placing real butter next to spreads using similar packaging and pricing them comparably. So let me show you 3 real butter brands and teach you how to identify genuine butter every single time. Number 3, Lurpak slightly salted butter. Yes, Lurpak makes both real butter and that spreadable nonsense we criticized earlier. The key is knowing which product is which. Real Lurpak butter comes in foil-wrapped blocks, not plastic tubs. If it says spreadable anywhere on the package, put it back. The ingredient list for real Lurpak butter contains exactly 2 things: butter and salt. No oils, no emulsifiers, no chemicals. The fat content is 80% or higher. Real butter must contain at least 80% milk fat by UK law. Spreads have 38 to 64% fat because they're diluted with water and oil. The price is around £3 for 250 grams. This seems expensive until you realise you're getting pure butter, not water and oil. When I baked with real Lurpak butter, the results were perfect. Croissants had proper lamination and flaky layers. Cakes had a rich flavour and correct texture. Lurpak proves that real butter still exists, but it is not the best example on the shelf. If you want to see what butter looks like when cows, not chemistry, do the work, the next brand raises the standard entirely. Number 2, Kerrygold Pure Irish Butter. Kerrygold is one of the best real butters available in UK supermarkets. It's made from milk from grass-fed Irish cows, which creates butter with superior flavour and nutrition. The packaging is distinctive gold foil wrapping and green. Kerrygold branding. Real Kerrygold comes in foil-wrapped blocks, never in plastic tubs. The ingredient list is even simpler than Lurpak, just butter. 1 ingredient. The fat content is 82%, which is higher than the UK legal minimum. This extra fat content creates richer flavour and better cooking performance. A nutritionist told me, Kerrygold is excellent because Irish cows are predominantly grass-fed. This creates butter higher in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin K2, and conjugated linoleic acid. The colour is deep golden yellow, significantly darker than most butters. This colour comes from beta-carotene in grass, which concentrates in the milk fat. It's natural colouring, not artificial additives. The price is around £3.20 for 250 grams. Kerrygold shows what grass-fed cows can produce when quality comes first. But if you want the same purity with organic standards and British sourcing, there is one final brand worth paying attention to. Number 1, Yeo Valley Organic Butter. Yeo Valley produces excellent organic butter from British milk. This is real butter supporting British farming with transparent sourcing. The ingredient list contains butter from organic milk and salt in the salted version. The organic certification means the cows are fed organic feed without pesticides and are raised to higher animal welfare standards. The fat content is 80%, meeting the legal standard for real butter. No water dilution, no oil blending, just pure butter fat. The price is around £3.50 for 250 grams, premium pricing for organic certification. By now you might be thinking this feels like a minefield. Blocks, tubs, fat percentages, labels that look almost identical. The good news is you do not need to memorize brands to avoid fake butter. Once you know a few simple rules, identifying real butter takes seconds. Forget the branding, forget the marketing language. The truth is always on the back of the pack. This is how to identify real butter every single time. Step 1. Check the packaging format. Real butter comes in foil-wrapped blocks or parchment paper. Spreads come in plastic tubs. If it's in a tub, it's not butter. Step 2. Read the ingredient list. Real butter contains 1 or 2 ingredients maximum: butter or cream and possibly salt. If you see vegetable oils, emulsifiers, preservatives or anything else, it's not butter. Step 3. Check the fat content. Real butter must contain a minimum of 80% milk fat. Spreads range from 38 to 64%. Step 4. Avoid anything marketed as spreadable straight from the fridge. Real butter is solid when cold. That's how butter works. Real butter behaves perfectly in cooking because it's pure fat. The water content is minimal at around 15 to 16%. The vitamin content of real butter is significant. Butter naturally contains vitamins A, D, E, and K2. These are fat-soluble vitamins that your body absorbs easily when consumed with fat. The UK spread industry has spent decades deceiving consumers into buying vegetable oil and water mixtures while thinking they're getting butter or healthy alternatives. These 10 products we've exposed represent billions of pounds in annual sales. The marketing is deliberately deceptive. Packaging that looks like butter, names that evoke butter, placement next to real butter in supermarkets. The ingredients are the cheapest possible. Palm oil drives deforestation. Rapeseed oil requires pesticide-heavy farming and chemical extraction. Water bulks up the product. The prices are unjustified. You're paying £2 to £4 for 500 grams of vegetable oil and water. Real butter costs similar or less and provides actual nutrition and superior flavour. But here's the good news. You can stop being deceived today. Switch to real butter immediately. Buy Lurpak butter in foil blocks, Kerrygold Pure Irish butter, or Yo Valley Organic butter. Real butter is solid when cold. This is normal and good. Keep a small amount in a butter dish at room temperature for spreading. It will soften naturally and safely for up to a week. Real butter tastes better. Every chef, every baker, every food professional uses real butter because nothing else performs the same way. Your body recognizes real butter as food. Humans have been eating butter for thousands of years. Spreads are modern inventions full of chemicals your body doesn't recognize. Stop being fooled by marketing. Spreadable means diluted and chemically altered. Buttery means artificially flavored. Lower fat means more water and chemicals. Read ingredient lists every time. This is your defense against deception. If it doesn't say butter or cream as the only ingredients besides salt, don't buy it. Have you been buying any of these spreads for years thinking they were butter? Are you angry about how you've been deceived? Drop your experiences in the comments below. And if this video opened your eyes to what's really in your fridge, share it with everyone you know. They deserve to know the truth about what they're spreading on their toast every morning.